Alright, so just a little tip for all you people out there that are wanting to remove the sound deadening from your car. I have got this far in about an hour. That's using a heat gun and using a paint scraper, which I have right here. A paint scraper, a heat gun. Just a lot of back and forth motion on it. But yeah, it's a labor-intensive, time-consuming process. So that's about an hour. I'm gonna guess maybe another hour for that one. So if that's an hour per, or 2 hours per, that's gonna be 8 hours just for that. We've got the little centerpiece here and that little thing right there. But it's gonna totally be worth it when it's done. But for those of you that are kind of curious, check this out. So we had some buddies come by last night and look at this engine, and they wanted to check it out and make sure the block was still good, which they did. I'm gonna turn it up there. There's two middle ones at top dead. So check this out. Looky there. Isn't that just something? I mean, it's in there. It might come out, but I'm gonna leave it in there. I'm gonna make it into a trophy or something. It's gonna look pretty cool. But yeah, that and the timing guide. Moving on over here, I drained. There was a little bit. There wasn't anything impressive, so I didn't worry about filming it too much. But yeah, I want to check out this this cabin air filter here. So let's pull the bad boy out of here. There's a little finger trap. Oh yeah. I don't need to change my cabin air filter. It's still got plenty of life left in it. Yeah, just smack it off a few times. It'll go for a few more miles. All right, there. It's clean, right? Perfect. Nope, it's going in the trash. By the way, so yeah, future is going to be me working on the sound deadening removal in there. I'm going to be getting on the rust removal too, but before I do the final of the rust removal, I want to make sure I got the sound deadening out, because I feel like there's a little bit of rust underneath it that I got to get to as well. But then that's going to set the stage for a nice clean base to come off of. We'll get a few places touched up with paint and stuff, and then we can start building. We can start doing the dynamat. So I was getting ready to put this in the trash and decided, I'll fold it in half and break it. It looks kind of brittle, right? Literally bending it over so it touches itself. All right. Literally could not put. There we go. It takes that much pressure to break them. So Tupperware, yeah, I'd call it Pyrex. All right, folks, welcome back. So, yeah, in today's episode, as you've already seen, we're going to be removing the sound deadening. We've got most of the front out already. We still need that little spot in the center console to be removed. And now we're going to move on actually to the back seats where the back footrest area is. We're going to get that sound deadening out hopefully today. The front two sides took about 3 hours a section, so it was roughly 6 hours total, plus breaks in the middle. So I'm estimating that's probably what today's gonna take us as well. So let's continue and see how far we make it. Well, that's it for the sound deadening, minus the piece on the front of the tunnel there. But this is what I've got an issue with now. What do we do with that? Yeah, getting up close to it here, you can kind of we're just gonna give it a tug. See how it strings out? That stuff is super sticky. I guess it's sticky. It doesn't like, I don't know. It's weird. It almost feels like clay or something. Very weird. You can see how up close it just peels off. That's so weird. So I'll just peel it the best I can. See what we're left with. I will say it creates a heck of a bond on there. Now, before I go pulling it completely off, I'm going to consider just leaving it on there, rolling it and pressing it out really good, and then just put some Dynamat over top of it. Because from the looks of it, it looks healthy. There's I mean, maybe not for your health or mine, but the stuff isn't browned or nasty looking. It looks like it just got squirted out of the gun yesterday, so I don't see why that would be much of an issue. Now, up here on top, we've got two of those pieces. I think those are going to be even more of a pain than this to get off, just because it's vertical and I'd be working over my head. So again, it's super thin. It almost isn't anything at all. And it's just like some silver stuff with a little bit of caulking behind it or something weird. But yeah, I might just push it down and Dynamat over it, and you'll never see it after the rest of the interior's in there. So one thing I'd like to get sorted out is that pan is nice and flat. That pan is not. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's kind of humped up. It's had a jack under it. It's been smashed. Maybe someone put a jack stand down there. But anyway, I'm gonna beat it back into submission with my tool here. All right, so judging from what you guys saw, how would you rate me? Pretty good. Does that look like a decent little metal fix on the on that pan down there? Anyway, yeah, like I said, leave me a comment below. Let me know if I'm terrible at it. I don't know, but I'm just throwing this out there. If there's anybody that builds cool custom cars and they want somebody to lend a hand, work in their shop with them, hit me up. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna finish pulling this piece out. That'll be the last of that that's in here. Once we get that out of there, I can start like trying to clean up the floors a little bit, just getting some of the thicker stuff off. I'm not worried about getting it all off, but getting it down to where we can see the rusty areas. There's a little bit of rust in that corner over there. But overall, there's not much in here. I just want to be able to, you know, get to the things that are rusty. And yeah, this stuff down here, it could get, if it's scratched up a little bit, or, you know, where I was beating on it with a hammer, I kind of want to clean it up and make sure it's got some fresh paint on it. Put some new seals on these things. By seals, I'm just going to put some like window gasket on there and press it down with like, I don't know, a clay tablet with some oil on it or something to kind of just give it that press and then release, and it should look about like that whenever it's done. We'll see. Again, I'm just coming up with stuff on my own. If you've got any ideas, shout out in the comment section down there. Oh yeah, don't forget to like, you know, subscribe, do all that stuff. All right, so without wasting any more time, get this show on the road. Well, my heat gun decided when I turned it off the last time that it didn't want to turn back on. So I'm gonna move under here. I don't really need heat. I just need some light scraping and a little bit of tugging, and we'll get caps pulled off that. Looks a lot better when I do. Well, it's not perfect, but it looks a lot better. And yeah, step one's never perfect. We'll hit it with some Goo Gone, and I believe that'll probably make it clean up fairly well. I think that's what I used on the red line, and those things started to shine. What I'm not gonna enjoy doing is all of the sound deadening on the inside I have to do on the red line over there. So someday I'm gonna have to get in on that and do it. And boy, let me tell you, the fronts were about 3 hours per side, the rears were about 2 hours per side, and under here took about an hour. So yeah, I'm gonna call it 12 to 14 hours because I didn't stand here and do it straight. I took breaks and little things in between, because you tried doing it for 14 hours, I guarantee your wrists are going to be hurting. So with that being said, just take your time with it. Lots and lots of heat. If you're ever wondering, like, you know, what's the problem? Why isn't it coming up? More heat. And your spatula, before you even start, before you even put it in for your first dig, you need to just hit it with the heat gun for like a good solid minute. Just keep rotating the sides, and yeah, that's going to help it. It's just going to cut through it a lot easier if you do it that way. But yeah, the old heat gun died right there. Make sure to smash that subscribe button, and as always, please drop a like, guys. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, so we're gonna tie this down today. We're gonna end up putting the cover back on it. I think it's gonna cloud up tonight and we may see some rain. So just in case, we don't want anything leaking in here. It's pretty bare bones now. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you coming on this journey, and I hope you've enjoyed it. All right, folks, another day, another dollar. Here we go. So today we've got this stuff, Rust Aid. So yeah, this stuff's pretty good. So what I've heard anyway. So I've got this mostly empty bottle here, some Diablo wheel cleaner. I'm not going to use it anymore. And yeah, we're going to fill it with that, and we're going to spray it on the rear axle. Just see what it does. A little test piece. I mean, it's about the rustiest piece in the whole car, so I figure it's a good starting point. So without wasting any more time, let's get to it, shall we? And like that, folks. All right, so put that on there, and I mean, not gonna lie, it actually knocked off more than I thought it would. Now, it spent about 20 minutes of time on there to eat away and permeate, but look over here, and that's what it looked like beforehand. The dirt's mostly cleaned off of it here, so I think I will stick with this for now. We'll get off what we can, and then we'll put some sort of a rust encapsulator on it, and keep it looking fresh for many years to come. All right, guys, that looks pretty good, wouldn't you say? It's definitely not perfect by any means, but yeah, I mean, in fact, even here on the backside, that's still paint. That's original undercoating on there. There's a little bit of rust at the top there that's shown through the paint itself, but yeah, I think the rust issue on this car isn't going to be too terrible of an issue. We don't have any holes through the frame or the body, so that in itself is an enormous plus. Yeah, just like that said, subscribe. Go ahead and hit it down at the bottom if you haven't already. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up. We've got some more rust adventures to go on here, so let's stick with it, shall we? So another little trick that I've heard and saw some people do online, they'll take some rags and they'll put rags over the thing that you're trying to dissolve the rust on, and then they'll soak that in the rust remover itself, because it actually evaporates fairly quickly on here. Whenever you spray it on, about 20 minutes is all you can get for it to sit there before it's completely dry and you have to do it again. So instead of shooting and shooting and shooting over and over and over again, I'm going to try to lay some rags down on it, soak it, maybe leave it for an hour, come back and see what happens. Alright, but for now, I'm just going to pressure wash the dirt off the underside because I haven't hit it with anything yet. Let it dry, and then we will commence to removing that rust. All right, so up next, I'm gonna try this. Lay it like that over the backside. I'll tuck this in behind the axle itself. It's gonna be really hard to get to the back of the axle. Let it run down, up and under. Seems like a lot of work, but I'm going to do some reading up on it. That rust encapsulator, the small amount that's on this may be usable to just throw that stuff on, like pressure wash it off real good and then throw that stuff on top of it. So do that. Man, that was perfect size. And now the idea here, I'm just going to soak this and it'll sit there. All right, folks, it's been 24 hours and we've let our stuff set nice overnight. I came out about 8:30 last night and I ended up putting another coat, just kind of doused it all just to rehydrate it. And this is what we got. So as you can see, it has turned completely yellow. Little holes in the middle are left white, so I'm gonna guess that that's rust. Let's go ahead and unwrap it and see what we got here, shall we? Hey. All right, it turned green. Well, not too sure what all's going on with the green stuff, but you know what? Yellow stuff, whatever you want to call that. I'm gonna hit it with a pressure washer and then we will see how that compares to that after it's dry. And while the pressure washer's out, I'm actually gonna hit this thing and clean it. I've had this thing for about 4 or 5 years now. Got put on the back burner, always had something else that was going on, a reason why I couldn't work on it or something, but yeah, I've got that, so we're gonna make that thing run. But step one is cleaning up all this cobwebs and scuzziness from sitting under trees and just being neglected, really. I was a bad owner to this thing. That's actually the same color as my red line, so she's dirty. But yeah, we're gonna clean that up today. If you want to see the full cleaning process, the ASMR of that, I'll put it on my on a different build series. It won't be included in the build series that I've got going on over there. All right, like that, guys. This actually pulled it down to bare metal. So that yellow was the rust coming off. It came off very well, actually, as you can tell. Only with a rag blade, so I'm going to do this again. I may try to find some sort of a container that I could just submerge the whole part in, and then like tomorrow I can flip it over or something. But yeah, so that stuff seems to work. Let's see here. It's under a tire, but Rust Aid, I goof off. You can get it at Lowe's. It's like $13 a gallon. So look it up, guys. All right, folks, so that's our video today. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and come back and see me. I try to put out a video on the Ion about once a week. It's hard to create a 20-minute video, edit it, and do all that while working on it as well. I'm not just making content, I'm also actually trying to build something. So yeah, about once a week I try to put a video out about that. I throw some shorts and stuff up. Now I'm going to have this on its own series channel now, or it'll be on this channel, but it'll have its own build series under it. So check that out. Make sure you come back and watch the videos. I got a lot more stuff going on too. Now that car show season's about to wind down, got the red line out there that we're going to end up taking it, and we're going to do some things to it. It needs new bushings, control arms, rear axle, things like that. So this winter I'm going to pull it back, pull it apart, and show it a little love. It hasn't seen much love in the last year or two. So we'll keep that all going, but until next time, guys, much love. Peace.